In the early morning of August 6, 1945, the B-29 Superfortress take off from Tinian. The bomber's primary target was the city of Hiroshima. Hiroshima had a civilian population of almost 300,000 and was a critical military center that included 43,000 soldiers. After 6 hours of flight, the aircraft arrived over the target in clear visibility. The bomb was dropped at approximately 8:15. After falling for 44.4 seconds. The time and barometric triggers started the firing mechanism. The fusing system was designed to trigger at the most destructive altitude, which calculations suggested was 1,500 feet. Radar altimeters were used to reliably detect final altitude. When the altimeters sensed the correct height, the firing switch closed, igniting the 3 gun primers, which detonate the 6 silk powder bags. This launched the uranium projectile towards the opposite end of the gun barrel at an eventual muzzle velocity of 300 meters per second. Approximately 10 milliseconds later, the nuclear chain reaction occurred. Nuclear fission is a nuclear radioactive decay process in which the hitting neutrons on the uranium atoms, then the uranium atoms split into 2. And it releases 3 neutrons. Each process releases 2 uranium atoms and 3 neutrons. A chain reaction of atom splitting and ensure that there is a constant source of heat. The fission process often produces gamma photons and releases a very large amount of energy, even by the energetic standards of radioactive decay. This makes the explosion. It detonated with the same force of 15 kilotons of TNT, forming a mushroom cloud about 60,000 feet tall and releasing radiation into the air. The explosion resulted in a flash of blinding light, followed by intense heat. 80,000 people were killed and destroying nearly every building within 1 mile of the epicenter. The radius of the affected area would be almost a mile long. This red circle indicates the radius of explosion fireball. Within the yellow circle, fatalities near 100% and all concrete structures are demolished. Within the green circle, most residential structures are destroyed and there are massive injuries and fatalities. The blue circle indicates the area in which third-degree radiation occurs. The damage came from 3 main effects: blast, fire, and radiation. The blast-affected area was 1.8 kilometers from the epicenter. The blast from a nuclear bomb is the result of an X-ray heated air called fireball. The fireball was an extremely hot and highly luminous spherical mass of air and gaseous that sent a shock wave in all directions, initially at a velocity greater than the speed of sound. Approximately all the people inside the area where the shock wave carried such an overpressure would be killed. The firestorm-affected area was roughly 3.2 kilometers from the epicenter. Many fire victims also received lethal doses of nuclear radiation. An estimated 30% of immediate fatalities were people who received lethal doses of this direct radiation. Over 6,000 people survived in the blast and fire, but they died of radiation injuries, from which they recovered, but with a lifelong increase in cancer risk. After 3 days of the Hiroshima blast, the United States dropped the second atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Nagasaki, codenamed as Fatman.